Hey guys, Dr. Dave, this is Microdose U. Welcome. And today I want to share something with you. But I want to tell you in advance, it's not really about microdosing magic mushrooms, psilocybin, but it's really powerful because it is about healing. So stand by, let's get right into it. Hey there, how are you? Good to see you. I haven't done many videos lately. I'm concentrating more on my audio podcast channel, but I've got something today that's, I think, so powerful that I really want to share this with you because you're here to heal. You're not here necessarily to learn how to do and use magic mushrooms for the rest of your life. You're here to feel better. You're here to feel not depressed, not anxious, get rid of the PTSD, be more mindful. You're here for so many different reasons. And something I've learned lately, well, about 2 years ago, I read this book by James Nestor called Breathe. Actually, I'm sorry, it's called Breath, just Breath. It's no E on the end, just called Breath. And it was totally a game-changing book for me. And it just pretty much outlined principles of how we have developed and evolved to breathe more through our mouths instead of our noses, and this really wreaks havoc on our bodies. And in the way of, it could be mental health issues, it could be heart disease, it could be so many things, skin problems. The list goes on and on and on because mouth breathing, as many, I say most people do, without even realizing how you're breathing, because you're not paying attention to your breathing, is causing illnesses in our lives. So I read this book a couple years ago and kind of got into it, but then I kind of dropped it a little bit and got more into the microdosing of the magic mushrooms because I really wanted kind of like a quick fix. But now I'm 2 years into the program as far as microdosing goes, and it's really worked wonderfully for me. But I wanted to revisit the Breath book because I felt it was super powerful and super important and really life-changing. So I started reading it again, and I have made it a habit, made it my intent to, and I can't do this while I'm talking because it's almost impossible, but to be almost 100% nasal breathing and not breathing through my mouth. You have to read the book to understand it, and it's way beyond the scope of what I want to say in this video to explain, because James Nestor is a really smart scientific medical journalist that he just lays it out. This is scientifically based. It's not like somebody's opinion. It's not a fad. It's nothing like that. It's total science. So this morning what I did around this track right here is right there. Where is it? Right here. Well, you can see the track. It's a 1.5 mile track that goes around this park right across from, let's say right near my house. And I made it a point to walk/run the 1.5 miles. And you would say, well, that's no big deal, Dr. Dave. Anybody can do that. Well, yeah, almost. Unless you're really infirmed or really ill, almost anybody can cover a 1.5 mile distance, whether it's, running or walking or skating or whatever you want to do. However, I made it a point to do this with my mouth totally closed 100% the entire time and only breathing through my nose. Now, if you try that, you'll see that's a total game changer, and it's nothing like just walking around a track not thinking about your breathing. So I've been nasal breathing for quite some time now, especially, day and night. And I've trained myself to do that, except for when I go out and exercise and run and stuff like that, ski, hike. I haven't really been so good at that. But today I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start training to do nasal breathing 100% of the time when I'm running and walking. So I started around the track, and the walking part was fairly easy because I have trained myself. Now, if you went out to do it right now, it might not be so easy. You'll see. And the best way to tell is to actually tape your mouth up so you can't cheat, because it's not difficult. It's not hard. It's not easy. I should say it's not easy at all to do this. So I could do it while I was walking, and I started walking. I walked maybe a quarter to a half a mile before I started going into a slow jog. And once I started running, it became much more difficult because you feel like you need more and more and more air. And the easy thing to do is just to say, okay, well, I'm going to take a break from the nasal breathing and I'm just take a tremendous breath, almost like breathing through a fire hose, like my mouth, like, that's the quick fix. But that's not right. That wouldn't help my training. It would only hurt. So instead of taking any breath through my mouth at all, I just slowed my jogging down and back into a very, very slow jog or a walk. And I was able to catch up that way. So then when I started feeling better, I ultimately started going into a slow jog again. And only nasal breathing, 100% nasal breathing, no cheating, not even one breath through my mouth. And again, when I felt like I needed to take, I just wanted a big breath because I needed the air. And it's interesting because in James Nestor's book, it's not oxygen that we're craving, but it's CO2. That it's the CO2 level that makes you want to like take that tremendous breath and then take a big exhale. It's the carbon dioxide level. It's you're getting enough oxygen. It's not the oxygen, it's the carbon dioxide. And you have to read this because again, it goes into so much detail and it's such a well-written book. I wouldn't be doing it any justice by explaining it here. But every time I felt like I needed that big breath of air through my mouth, I did not take it. I did not succumb, but I went ahead and slowed myself down and continued breathing only through my nose for 1.5 miles total. And then when I got home, I put a pulse oximeter on my finger, and I took my pulse ox and my heart rate, and my pulse, my O2 saturation, my oxygen saturation was 99%. And it was steady. It was ranged from 98 to 99%. Just stayed steady there. And my recovery pulse rate was fantastic in the low 50s. My heart rate is usually pretty low anyway. But guys and gals, this is the beginning. This is the beginning to true healing. I'm going to tell you right now that proper nasal breathing will trump everything else that you do in your life, whether you're on a special diet, nutrition, eating program, exercise, whatever it is, whatever you name it. Breathing properly through our nose is the most important thing we can do for long-term health. That's a promise. Read this book and you'll see exactly what I mean. Again, this is not hype. It's not a fad. It's not going to go away. Our bodies are our bodies, and we can't change that. They've evolved poorly over the years. Our skulls have changed shape, our mouths have gotten smaller, and everybody is a nasal breather. I'm sorry, everybody's a mouth breather, and that's why we've got so many allergies and mental health issues. And again, it's a long laundry list of why mouth breathing is such a tremendous problem. So I'm gonna, this is just the beginning. I'm gonna expand on this. I'm gonna highly recommend you get this book to read. I'm gonna put the link in the show notes here. Grab a copy. It's a great read. It's a very interesting read. I'm not a great reader. I don't love to read books, believe it or not. I find it sometimes drudgery reading a long book that can get a little bit wordy and boring. But this is a really interesting read. You'll hang on to every word or every page. I guarantee that. Take a look. It'll be in the link will be in the not bio, in the description. Grab a copy. I'll continue this because I think this is where I want to go. This is super important stuff. It's not to say I'm not going to be talking about microdosing anymore, but if we want true healing, we've got to get beyond the microdosing. I had 2 years worth of microdosing therapy. It's done wonders to my life. There's no denying that, but I think there's a lot more work that has to be done, and you just can't stop now and say, okay, I'm finished. So I'm going to continue with this. Stay with me. Again, join me on my audio podcast of the same name, Microdose U. And we got a lot more to talk about, guys, because again, this game is not over. It's not even close to over. But I'm starting to feel really good. Okay, talk to you soon. I'm Dr. Dave, Microdose U.